right now is the most exciting time to be an Avatar fan since 2008. Now, whether you realize that statement is true, or if you just think it sounds ridiculous, hear me out and watch this video before deciding. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're a casual fan of the show, but on your 10th rewatch, Secret Tunnel just didn't hit like it used to. You tried watching The Legend of Korra, but couldn't even get past the first few episodes. And not to mention,
the Shyamalan movie.
I know what someone in this scenario would be thinking. The era of the Avatar is no more. Nothing new is coming out. Nothing good is coming out. So you might as well boot up Netflix and get started on that 11th rewatch. But you see, that's where you're wrong. Now you should still go ahead and rewatch the show because, of course, but you are gravely mistaken about the current state of this franchise. While things may seem quiet on the surface, if you peered just a little bit behind the curtain, you would be shocked by the amount of activity taking place right at this very second. In fact, let's break down just this week. On Monday, we got fresh looks at what some of the Netflix cast members will look like as their characters. On Tuesday, we got leaked images of the upcoming Avatar RPG video game. On Wednesday, we got the official announcement for 3 new animated movies. On Thursday, we finally learned who will be playing Princess Yue in the Netflix live-action TV show. On Friday, season 1 of that show finished filming after months of production, plus we learned exactly which avatars will be starring in those animated movies. And finally, on Saturday, we got a trailer for Book 4 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. As you can see, we have a lot to cover today, so
Julie, do the thing.
this video is going to be pretty jam-packed with news from across the entire Avatar franchise. For the true enthusiasts out there, just sit back and watch the full thing. But for the people only interested in a few specific projects, don't worry, I've got you too. I added timestamps and split this video into chapters so you can use the progress bar to easily jump around to wherever you're the most interested, whether that be the Netflix show or Book 4 or the new movies. You decide. Let's get started with Avatar Studios. They're making 3 new animated Avatar movies just for us. Reminder, this is the new production company set up and led by Avatar's original creators, Mike and Brian. Basically, from now on, any official Avatar projects will either be created by or are in partnership with Avatar Studios. The only exception is the Netflix show, which is doing its own thing in live action. More on that later. On Wednesday, the official Avatar Instagram account announced that there are 3 new animated Avatar films currently in development, with the first one being directed by franchise veteran Lorne Montgomery. This announcement aligns with the Avatar news leaks that I covered on this channel exactly 4 weeks ago. And I couldn't help but notice that only 0.3% of the people who saw that video are subscribed. That means 99.7% of viewers are going to be left in the dark the next time I drop some breaking news that's confirmed a full month later. So do yourself a favor and join the top 1%. Hit subscribe. Back to the news. This movie announcement was honestly pretty lackluster because it just confirmed the existence of 3 movies without offering any details. So we basically learned no actual new information. At least that is until Friday, when Avatar News woke up, chose violence, and decided to leak Mike and Brian's entire agenda. By cross-referencing multiple insider sources, they were able to figure out that the 3 movies currently in development will be about Avatar Kyoshi, Firelord Zuko, and Avatar Korra. And the leak didn't end there. We have dates. The first movie will be about Kyoshi, and it's slated to release in 2024. 1 year later, in 2025, we're getting a movie all about Zuko. And 1 year after that, in 2026, we're getting a Korra film, and you gotta deal with it. Keep in mind, these movies are super early in development, and release dates change all the time, especially for theatrical releases. These are not at all set in stone. But it does show us that Avatar Studios is planning to release consistent content for years to come, so we're gonna be eating well for a good while. Now, in my previous video from last month, I already laid out why I thought a Kyoshi movie would make the most amount of sense, and it seems like I was dead on because that's exactly what we're getting. To quickly recap my reasons, Kyoshi's the most iconic past life, we've yet to follow the story of an Earth Avatar, her 2 novels provide a lot of source material, and Kyoshi could highly capitalize on the current cultural phenomenon phenomenon of tall mommies stepping on people. Okay, one of those reasons may not have been real, but who can say which? In that same previous video, I also gave my pitch for when I think the Zuko movie should take place. I'm going to try my best to manifest this. The gang at their prime. I'm thinking late 20s, early 30s, whenever these characters are at their most powerful, establishing the foundations for what will eventually become the world of Korra. There's a ton of room to play around. Let me level with you. On this channel, I talk exclusively about Avatar: The Last Airbender, a kids show. While most people probably assume that my viewers are all children, here's a screenshot of my channel's actual demographics. You know what I see when I look at this? A bunch of 25 to 34-year-olds, and surprisingly few kids. Just think about it for a second. This Zuko movie is set to release in 2025. That is exactly 20 years after the series initially launched in February of 2005. So anyone who watched back then and was the target age of, let's say, 11, would now be 28 years old. This is a nostalgia-based franchise held up on a pedestal by the OG fans, high enough so that new generations of fans could constantly see it and continuously flock towards it. It's been 17 years. The people who watched Avatar as it aired are now showing it to their children. This movie should be made for them, and making Zuko their age is a great place to start. Show Zuko starting his own family, learning to raise his own young daughter, just like the OG fans. Let me quickly address two common arguments against this idea. The first is that, well, we can't have a show about the gang at their prime because Aang would just be able to solve any problem with the fully realized Avatar state. Where's the conflict? I actually think they've already found a solution to this. Aang is not the main character of this movie. Zuko is. It'd be so easy to make a really awesome opening sequence showing Aang going apeshit on some fools in the Avatar state and then just write him out of the story to focus on Zuko's new arc. Maybe there's a crisis in the spirit world that Aang leaves to take care of, so he misses whatever goes down in the Fire Nation. I'm just spitballing here, but it's definitely doable. And the second argument I hear is, I never read the comics and I don't really want to, but I do want to learn what happened to Zuko's mother. For anyone who relates to that statement, I suggest you keep watching this video until the end, because I talk about season 4 of Avatar: The Last Airbender a little bit later. Patience, my kings and queens. The final movie announcement that I have to briefly discuss is the one about Avatar Korra, coming out in 2026. Now, I personally really liked The Legend of Korra, even though it was obviously much weaker than the original Atlas show overall. Despite what you hear online, Legend of Korra was extremely popular with fantastic ratings across the board. If you compare it to anything that's not Avatar, it looks like a smash hit, but you wouldn't really know it because there's a vocal minority of people who really hate the show, and they make sure their opinions are heard, and everyone else is honestly too lukewarm on Korra to put up much of a defense. So the conversations were always one-sided and it became a giant echo chamber. So it's pretty brave of Mike and Brian to stick to their guns and commit in this way. I would guess that for the movie, Korra would be around the same age as the last time we saw her, about 21 years old. I'm assuming this because the technology advancements were already so rapid in the later seasons of LOK, and I don't think Bright is ready to hit us with their Avatar in the modern era ideas just yet. Whew, that was a lot. Shout out to Avatar News for the last second leaks that added around 4 minutes to this video. I knew the video timestamps would come in handy. This is the final thing I'm going to say about these movies. If anyone from Avatar Studios is watching this video, start taking notes. Your tweet announcing these movies got 400 likes. Avatar News' tweet announcing the exact same movies got 200,000 likes. Why is there this huge difference? Well, because Avatar News gave us something to get excited about. They gave us new details. They gave us a unique image versus this one, which I've seen for a decade yet still have no clue where it came from. Avatar News' tweet even turned Korra into a trending topic. Avatar Studios, I know you're young, and I know you're hard at work making these movies for us, but maybe just hire a social media intern to help boost transparency. Post a few concept images, a few names here and there. Let the fans join the journey of bringing the Four Nations back to life. That's all I have to say. Hope I'm being fair. We still have a lot of non-movie related Avatar announcements to cover. The Dawn of Yang Chen young adult novel is coming out in exactly 1 month. It's written by F.C. Yee, who did a fantastic fantastic job on the previous 2 Kyoshi books. Seriously, if you are an Avatar fan who likes to read fantasy, just check them all out, you won't be disappointed. And I've also got some good news for the gamers out there. Square Enix, the studio behind Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, previously announced that they're working on an Avatar mobile game, and it's currently in beta. How do I know it's in beta? Well, because screenshots of the gameplay were just leaked, and here are those screenshots. Everyone play nice and don't touch Square Enix that I'm showing you. Judging from the images, the game seems to be a turn-based RPG. Maybe that's your vibe, but as for me, we'll see. Maybe I'll play it on the channel whenever it actually releases. That concludes the Avatar Studios updates. Now into the Netflix live-action series, which once again is doing its own thing. There's a lot of updates, the most important of which is that season 1 of the show has finally finished filming after having the actors on set for 7 straight months. Now they're moving into post-production, and it's anyone's guess how long that will take. Based on trends in the industry, an educated guess would put the release at somewhere around the middle of February 2023, and that prediction actually aligns with statements by the show's lead costume designer, Farnaz Kaki Sidiga. And speaking of Farnaz, she's kind of a gem and an Emmy winner, but I'll talk more about her in a future video when I share why I'm 100% confident that the show will look absolutely amazing. So stay tuned for that, but today we're focused on the news, and we still have some great scoops like the casting for Princess Yue and Avatar Roku. The Moon will be played by Amber Midthunder, a 25-year-old indigenous actress from a Sioux tribe in Montana. Her resume is incredibly impressive, and her career is on an insane trajectory. She previously starred in Marvel's Legion, she had a part in Hell or High Water, and she's the leading role in the movie Prey, which comes out later this year. That's a prequel film for the entire Predator franchise, so there's no question that she's doing something right in all those auditions.
He does the boring stuff, okay? Eating, sleeping, whatever it is you guys do in the bathroom. And
50-year-old C.S. Lee will be playing Avatar Roku. And for me, this is admittedly the toughest one to sell, and you all know exactly why. I mean, bald rights are human rights, but you gotta admit, Roku kinda had the most hair, and C.S. Lee kinda has the least. And then there's the fact that Roku was around 6 feet 8 inches tall, or 203 centimeters, while Lee stands at 5'5", or 167 centimeters. This Korean-American actor is best known for his part on Dexter, where he played the comedic character Vince Masuka.
If you like little things, I'm your man. I mean, I'm not little everywhere. Some places I'm just perfectly average.
There's a bunch of cast rumors flying around right now about Master Paku, Main Tai Lee, King Boomy, Avatar Kuruk, and the Cabbage Merchant, but I don't deal with rumors, so I'll leave those characters for a later date. Let me reassure you though, filming has finished and these characters are going to be in the show, we just don't know who's playing them. But Toph is not going to be in the show, at least not yet. This is only season 1 of Avatar, and Toph wasn't ever introduced until season 2. A ton of people seemed confused about that in my last video, so I just wanted to clarify it this time. That's it for the new cast members, but some of the actors who we're already familiar with have recently given us little teases about their character transformations. The actor for Firelord Ozai just blessed the universe with this photo. Remember, this is Daniel Dae Kim. Daddy Dae Kim. Daniel Dae Kim. That was a struggle, but it is kind of insane just how much this guy looks the part. Alright, that's enough staring. Here's Mary Jonk rocking her cute new Suki hairstyle. And now that literally everyone is thirsty, and with the reveal of Princess Yue's actress from earlier, something just came to mind. I think it's hilarious that the guy playing Sokka, Ian Owsley, is about to have these 2 women falling all over him. It's basically perfect casting for Sokka, this dorky kid pulling baddies left and right. Oh wait, no. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have mentioned that, because now people will have even more reasons to hate on Ian. Let's move on. Quickly, here's Yvonne Chapman. She plays Kyoshi, and look at that big rock, it's like she's earthbending, hahaha. Okay, let's just talk about Book 4. This week, we got a trailer for the final season of Avatar The Last Airbender, Book 4 Air. Now, before I go any further, I have to clarify that this is a community project and not an official release by Avatar Studios. But even that isn't the full truth, because Avatar Studios did previously publish his Book 4 plotlines almost a decade ago in the form of comic book trilogies. That's what I was alluding to when I was talking about the Zuko movie earlier in this video. Avatar's creators, Mike and Brian, have already told this story story way back in 2013, and I highly doubt that their grand plan is to just tell it again. I do understand though that lots of fans have yet to experience these comics. Let's be honest, reading has fallen out of fashion, and not to mention collecting all of these books is kind of expensive and very hard to keep track of. But wanting to see these plotlines unfold in some manner is still valid, especially when it was the final unsolved mystery from the original show, which is why I think this project is so exciting. And I am not alone for thinking this, because even the lead writer for the Dragon Prince, Devin Gill, is hyped about this dub. We both understand it would give tons of Avatar fans the opportunity to experience these stories in a fashion that's way more approachable than it ever was before. And even though it's community driven, this project is extremely cool. But don't take my word for it. I mean, what do I know? I'm just a baby. Instead, you should listen to Princess Azula, who is of course the most beautiful, smartest, and perfect girl in the world.
Thank you, baby lion turtle. Although your appearance is truly repulsive, I do appreciate the flattery. Now, for all you peasants watching at home, listen up! The Book 4 Restoration Project is a collaboration between professional artists, musicians, and voiceover actors, such as myself. Why have we joined forces to bring these stories to life? Because we are all fans of the original show. After all, it is nearly as perfect as I am, as much as I hate to admit it. Our project offers a cohesive vision of what would have been Book 4, Air. Using the comics as a baseline, our writers and artists included some original content that fills the gaps and fleshes out the storylines into something worthy of your admiration. I think one of their writers even wrote something for Avatar, but who cares? Probably some nobody. And I know you miserable peasants have forgotten how to read, so allow our voiceover artists to do it for you. Maybe you'll recognize their illustrious tones from anime like Attack on Titan, Fairy Tail, and Ruby. Oh, and you'll hear me, of course, terrorizing my silly little brother, Fire Lord Zuzu. We shall see how long his cowardly reign lasts. After all, true power, the divine right to rule, is something you're born with.
Well, that was pretty scary, but in a please step on me kind of way, you know? Like Azula said, this is a very cool collaboration that will make experiencing the continuation of Aang and Zuko's stories much more engaging. They've even created their own soundtrack that uses the same instruments as the original score, so make sure to check out the trailer and social medias linked below, and stay tuned for the future releases. I know I will, even though I've already read the comics, because the dubbing will just make the story so much better.
We'll talk while sipping from steaming little cups, much like you did with my traitorous brother. I'll give you advice on how to be a good Fire Lord. Wouldn't that be nice?
Huge shout out to VO artist Lucia Libos Villa for sharing her voice with us today. If you want to hear more Princess Azula, Book 4 Air, check it out. And since this video is already so comprehensive of all things new in Avatar this week, I'll just briefly mention two more. The final part of The Legend of Genji Chapter 1 was posted on Saturday, and the release of James Cameron's Avatar 2 is exactly 6 months away from this week. So even if you're into blue aliens that do weird things with their ponytails, today is a great day to get hyped for the future. So, how did I do? At the start of this video, I made the claim that right now was the best time to be an Avatar fan since 2008. Did I manage to convince you? I really hope so, because if those 14 things didn't sway your opinion at all, there's really only one thing left to say.
Your future is full of struggle and anguish. Most of it self-inflicted.
But you didn't read my palms or anything.
I don't need to. It's written all over your face.
Stay positive, y'all, and keep watching Avatar.